Kurtis Eugene Kurt Warner is a former American football quarterback, a current part-time TV football analyst, and a philanthropist. He played for three National Football League teams, the St. Louis Rams, the New York Giants, and the Arizona Cardinals. He was originally signed by the Green Bay Packers as an undrafted free agent in 1994 after playing college football at Northern Iowa. Warner went on to be considered the best undrafted NFL player of all time, following a 12-year career regarded as one of the greatest stories in NFL history. Warner first attained stardom while playing for the St. Louis Rams from 1998 to 2003, where he won two NFL MVP awards in 1999 and 2001 as well as the Super Bowl MVP award in Super Bowl XXXIV. He led the 2008 Arizona Cardinals to Super Bowl XLIII, and owns the three highest single-game passing yardage totals in Super Bowl history. Warner currently holds the seventh highest career passer rating of all time, and the third highest career completion percentage in NFL history with 65.5%. In 13 career playoff games, Warner ranks first all-time in completion percentage, first in yards per attempt, and second in passer rating. He also holds the highest completion percentage for a single game during the regular season, at 92.3%, on September 20, 2009, against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He announced his retirement on January 29, 2010. Personal life. Childhood. Kurt Warner was born to Gene and Sue Warner. He has a brother, Matt. Warner's parents divorced when he was 6. Kurt and his brother lived with their mother, including through another short marriage and divorce. Kurt's father, Gene Warner, remarried a year after divorcing Kurt's mom. Warner's stepmother, Mimi Warner, also had a son named Matt. The three boys formed a close relationship soon thereafter. Kurt graduated in 1989 from Regis High School, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where he was quarterback of the school's Class 3A football team. College. Warner graduated from University of Northern Iowa in 1993 with a degree in communications. Marriage. During college, Warner met his future wife, Brenda Carney. They married on October 11, 1997. Brenda is a former United States Marine Corps corporal. She was divorced with 2 children, one of whom had been left brain-damaged and blind after being dropped by Brenda's ex-husband, leading to her hardship discharge from the Marines in 1990. After Warner was cut from the Packers training camp in 1994, he got a job working the night shift as a stock boy at a local HYV grocery store, in addition to his work as an assistant coach at Northern Iowa. While Warner was working as an assistant coach, the couple were living in Brenda's parents' basement in Cedar Falls. Brenda's parents were killed in 1996 when their Mountain View, Arkansas home was destroyed by a tornado. Warner and Brenda married in October 11, 1997, at the St. John American Lutheran Church, the same place where the service for Brenda's parents were held. Warner was still hoping to get an NFL tryout, but with that possibility appearing dim and the long hours at the HYV for minimum wage taking their toll, Warner began his Arena League career. After marrying Brenda, Warner officially adopted her 2 children from her first marriage. They have since added 5 children of their own. Christian faith and testimony. Kurt and Brenda Warner are devout evangelical Christians. His faith first emerged on the national stage following the Rams' Super Bowl victory, where he was named the game's MVP. Mike Tirico from ABC. Kurt, first things first. Tell me about the final touchdown pass to Isaac. Kurt Warner, well, first things first, I've got to thank my Lord and Savior up above. Thank you, Jesus. 9 years later, upon leading the Cardinals to the franchise's first ever Super Bowl, Warner's response was similar. Terry Bradshaw from Fox, you're not going to like this, but you're the 3rd oldest quarterback to ever play in the Super Bowl. How does that make you feel? Kurt Warner, everybody's going to be tired of hearing this, but I never get tired of saying it. There's one reason that I'm standing up on this stage today. That's because of my Lord up above. I've got to say thanks to Jesus. You knew I was going to do it, but I've got to do it. And secondly, I've got to say thanks to you guys. When nobody else believed in us, when nobody else believed in me, you guys did. And we're going to the Super Bowl." Warner has usually attended charismatic churches, and believes that God healed him from a concussion he suffered in 2000. However, he eschews the term charismatic. In 2001, he told Charisma, "I'm just a Christian." High school and college. Born in Burlington, Iowa, Warner played football at Regis High School in Cedar Rapids, graduating in 1989. After that he attended the University of Northern Iowa, graduating in 1993. At UNI, Warner was third on the Panthers' depth chart until his senior year. When Warner was finally given the chance to start, he was named the Gateway Conference's Offensive Player of the Year. Arena football. Following his college career, Warner went undrafted in the 1994 NFL Draft. He was invited to try out for the Green Bay Packers training camp in 1994, but was released before the regular season began. Warner was competing for a spot against Brett Favre, Mark Brunell and former Heisman Trophy winner T.Y. Detmer. While Warner was with the Packers, the head coach was Mike Holmgren. The quarterback coach was Steve Marucci. And Andy Reid was the offensive assistant. After Warner was released, Marucci told him that he knew Warner had enormous potential but was not ready to be an NFL quarterback yet. It was at this time that Warner stocked shelves at a Hy-Vee grocery store in Cedar Falls for $5.50 an hour. Warner often notes this as the starting point when telling of his rise to NFL stardom in 1999. He also mentions his conversion to Christianity that occurred around 1997. Warner also returned to Northern Iowa and worked as a graduate assistant coach with the football team, all the while still hoping to get another tryout with an NFL team. With no NFL teams willing to give him a chance, Warner turned to the Arena Football League in 1995, and signed with the Iowa Barnstormers. Warner was named to the AFL's first-team All-Arena in both 1996 and 1997 after he led the Barnstormers to Arena Bowl appearances in both seasons. Warner's performance was so impressive that he would be named 12th out of the 20 best arena football players of all time. Before the 1997 arena season, he requested and got a tryout with the Chicago Bears, but an injury to his throwing elbow caused by a spider bite sustained during his honeymoon prevented him from attending. In 2000, after Warner's breakout NFL season, the Arena Football League used his new notoriety for the name of their first widely available video game, Kurt Warner's Arena Football Unleashed. On August 12, 2011, Warner was named as an inductee into the AFL Hall of Fame. NFL career St. Louis Rams In 1998, Warner was finally signed by an NFL franchise, the St. Louis Rams, and was allocated to NFL Europe's Amsterdam Admirals, where he would lead the league in touchdowns and passing yards. Incidentally, his backup at the time was future Carolina Panthers quarterback Jake Delhomme, another famous rags to riches quarterback story. Returning to the United States for the season, Warner spent the 1998 season as St. Louis' third-string quarterback behind Tony Banks and Steve Bono. He ended his season completing only 4 of 11 pass attempts for 39 yards and a 47.2 QB rating. 1999 season. After releasing Banks and Bono following the 1998 season, the Rams signed free agent Trent Green to be their starting QB, and Warner was promoted to second string. When Green tore his ACL in a preseason game, Rams coach Dick Vermeil named Warner as the Rams starter. In an emotional press conference, Vermeil, who hadn't seen Warner work with the first-string offense, famously said, "We will rally around Kurt Warner, and we'll play good football." With the support of running back Marshall Faulk and wide receivers Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Isaiah Hakeem, and Ricky Pree, Warner put together one of the top seasons by a quarterback in NFL history, throwing for 4,353 yards with 41 touchdown passes and a completion rate of 65.1%. The Rams' high-powered offense, run by offensive coordinator Mike Martz, was nicknamed the greatest show on turf, and registered the first in a string of 3 consecutive 500-point seasons, an NFL record. Warner threw 3 touchdown passes in each of his first 3 NFL starts. He is the only NFL quarterback in history to accomplish that feat. Warner drew more attention in the Rams' 4th game of the season, a home game against the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams had lost their last 17 meetings with the 49ers, but Warner proceeded to throw a touchdown pass on each of the Rams' first 3 possessions of the game, and 4 TDs in the first half alone, to propel the Rams to a 28-10 half-time lead on the way to a 42-20 victory. Warner finished the game with 5 touchdown passes, giving him 14 in 4 games and the Rams a 4-0 record. Warner's breakout season from a career in anonymity was so unexpected that Sports Illustrated featured him on their October 18 cover with the caption, "Who is this guy?" He was named the 1999 NFL MVP at the season's end for leading the Rams to their first playoff berth since 1989 and their first division title since 1985. In the NFL playoffs, Warner ultimately led the Rams to a victory in Super Bowl XXXIV against the Tennessee Titans. In the game, he threw for 2 touchdowns and a Super Bowl record 414 passing yards, including a 73-yard touchdown to Isaac Bruce when the game was tied with just over 2 minutes to play, which proved to be the game-winning score. Warner also set a Super Bowl record by attempting 45 passes without a single interception. For his performance, Warner was awarded the Super Bowl MVP, becoming the 7th player to win both League MVP and Super Bowl MVP awards in the same year. 2000 season, Warner started the 2000 season where he had left off in his record-setting 1999 season, racking up 300 or more passing yards in each of his first 6 games and posting 19 touchdown passes in that stretch. Warner broke his hand and missed the middle of the season, but Trent Green filled in ably and the Warner-Green duo led the Rams to the highest team passing yard total in NFL history, with 5,232 net yards. Warner and Green's combined gross passing yards total was 5,492. In contrast to his previous season, however, Warner's turnover rate drastically increased in 2000, as he threw an interception in 5.2% of his attempts. Despite one of the most productive offensive years by an NFL team, the Rams only won 10 games and lost in the wild card round to the New Orleans Saints. In response to the disappointing season, the Rams cut 9 of their 11 defensive starters during the off-season, and Trent Green was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. 2001 season, Warner quickly returned to MVP form in 2001. Although his performance lagged behind his 1999 performance, he amassed a league-high 36 touchdown passes and 4,830 passing yards, and another league-high mark in passer rating. Warner's penchant for turnovers carried over from 2000, as he tossed a career-high 22 interceptions, but he still led the greatest show on turf to its 3rd consecutive 6-0 start, an NFL-best 14-2 record, and an appearance in Super Bowl XXXIV. Warner was also named the NFL MVP for the 2nd time in 3 seasons, giving the Rams their 3rd winner in as many years. In Super Bowl XXXIV, Warner threw for 365 yards and a passing touchdown along with a rushing touchdown, but his rhythm was disrupted by New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick's defensive game plan and he tossed 2 costly interceptions which helped stake the heavy underdog Patriots to a 2-touchdown lead. After falling behind to the Patriots 17-3, though, the Rams rallied to tie the game late in the 4th quarter on a 1-yard Warner QB sneak touchdown run and a 26-yard touchdown pass from Warner to Ricky Pree. The game ended in a 20-17 loss for Warner and the Rams when Patriots kicker Adam Vinatieri rebooted a game-winning field goal as time expired, giving the Patriots the first of 3 Super Bowl wins in 4 years. 2002-2003 seasons, Warner began the 2002 season as the Rams starter, but he played poorly, throwing 7 interceptions against only 1 touchdown as the team went 0-3. In the Rams' 4th game, this one against the Dallas Cowboys, Warner broke a finger on his throwing hand. Warner attempted to come back later in the season, but his injury allowed him to play only 2 more games. In contrast to his 103.4 career passer rating entering the season, Warner posted a minuscule 67.4 rating in 2002. The following season, Warner was replaced as the Rams' starting quarterback for good after fumbling 6 times in the team's opening day game against the New York Giants. Warner later revealed that he had previously broken his hand and that it had not fully healed, making it more difficult to grip the football. His successor as the Rams' starting quarterback, Mark Bulger, stepped into the breach and played reasonably well upon replacing Warner. New York Giants. The Rams released Warner on June 1, 2004. And 2 days later, he signed a 2-year deal with the New York Giants. Warner started the 2004 season as the Giants' starting quarterback, winning 5 of his first 7 games, but following a 2-game losing streak, highly touted rookie quarterback Eli Manning was given the starting job. The Giants had a 5-4 win-loss record at the time of Warner's benching, finishing at 6-10 overall. Following the season, Warner chose to void the second year of his contract, and thus became a free agent. Arizona Cardinals. 2005 season. In early 2005, Warner signed a 1-year, $4 million contract with the Arizona Cardinals, and was quickly named the starter by coach Dennis Green. Warner posted 3 relatively mediocre performances before injuring his groin and being replaced by former starter Josh McCown. McCown performed well enough in the 2 games Warner missed that Green named McCown the starter for the remainder of the season. But after McCown struggled in 2 straight games, Green reinserted Warner into the starting lineup. After playing fairly well in 2 consecutive losses, Warner defeated his former team, the Rams, by a score of 38-28. He passed for 285 yards and 3 touchdowns while posting a quarterback rating of 115.9. Warner's season ended in Week 15 when he partially tore his MCL. Warner signed a new 3-year deal with the Cardinals on February 14, 2006. The deal had a base salary of $18 million and, with performance incentives, could have been worth as much as $24 million. 2006 season. In Week 1 of the 2006 NFL season, Warner won the NFC Offensive Player of the Week award, throwing for 301 yards and 3 touchdowns in a win over San Francisco. 2 weeks later, Warner passed the 20,000-yard passing milestone in his 76th game, the second quickest of any player in NFL history. After 3 subpar games in Weeks 2 to 4, Warner was replaced at quarterback by rookie Matt Leinart in the 4th quarter of Week 4. Then coach Dennis Green stated that Warner would be the backup quarterbacks for the remainder of the season. In Week 16, Leinart went down with a shoulder injury against the 49ers, forcing Warner to see his first action since Week 4. Warner filled in nicely, as he was able to hang on for the Cardinals' win. In Week 17 against the San Diego Chargers, Warner started again in place of the injured Leinart, throwing for 365 yards and a touchdown, though the Chargers were able to hang on for a 27-20 win. 2007 season, Leinart was given the starting quarterback job at the start of the 2007 season. But in the 3rd game of the season, against the Baltimore Ravens, Warner came off the bench to relieve an ineffective Leinart during the 4th quarter with the Ravens leading 23-6 at the beginning of the period. Warner led a furious comeback, as he completed 15 of 20 passes for 258 yards and 2 TDs. This brought Arizona to a tie game, though Arizona would go on to lose the game 26-23 after Baltimore kicked a last-second field goal. On September 30, 2007, during the Week 4 game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Warner relieved Leinart again, following another ineffective start. Warner finished with 14 completed of 21 attempts for 132 yards with 1 touchdown pass and no interceptions, while Leinart re-entered the game in the 4th quarter and led the Cardinals to their final touchdown. After Leinart was placed on injured reserve, Warner was named starter for the remainder of the 2007 season. Warner passed for a career-high 484 yards against the 49ers in a 31-37 loss on November 25, but had a fumble in the end zone in overtime that was recovered by Tully Banter-Kane, and the Cardinals lost. However, the following week Warner improved, and the Cardinals earned a victory over the Browns that brought the Cardinals to 6-6 and kept them in the chase for the NFC Wild Card playoff spot. Warner finished the 2007 season with 27 passing touchdowns, just one shy of the Cardinals' franchise record. Warner's performance earned him a $1 million bonus for the year, and he fell just short of attaining a 90.0+ passer rating, which would have given him an extra $500,000. 2008 season, Leonard was named the Cardinals' starting QB going into the 2008 offseason, but Ken Hunt stated that it would be very possible for Warner to be the starter before Week 1 of the regular season. Indeed, Warner was named the starter on August 30, 2008. That season, Warner had 4,583 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, and a completion percentage of 67.1%. He was the top-ranked passer in the National Football Conference for the third time, and only trailed Philip Rivers and Chad Pennington of the AFC in NFL passer rating for the season. Warner also received FedEx Air Player of the Week honors for his performance during Weeks 9 and 11 of the season. On December 7, 2008, Warner led the Cardinals to a 34-10 win over his former team, the Rams, securing for the Cardinals the NFC West Division title in their first playoff berth since 1998. It was the Cardinals' first division title since 1975 and third of the post-merger era. As a result, the Cardinals would play only their second home playoff game ever, as they had never played a home playoff game in Arizona despite winning 2 division titles. On December 16, 2008, Warner was named the starting quarterback for the NFC team in the 2009 Pro Bowl. 2008 postseason. On January 3, 2009, Warner led the Cardinals in their victory over the Atlanta Falcons 30-24 at home in the first round of the playoffs. During the game Warner went 19 for 32 passing, a completion percentage of 59.4%, for 271 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. This win represented the first time the Cardinals had won a postseason home game since the 1947 NFL Championship game. On January 10, Warner led the Cardinals in their defeat of the Carolina Panthers 33-13 in Charlotte, North Carolina in the second round of the playoffs. During the game Warner went 21 for 32 passing, for 220 yards, a completion percentage of 65.6%. With 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. This win was the first time the Cardinals had won a game on the East Coast the entire 2008 season. On January 18, Warner threw for 279 yards, 4 touchdowns and no interceptions against the Philadelphia Eagles to lead the Cardinals to their first Super Bowl appearance in history. Warner is one of 3 quarterbacks who made Super Bowl starts with 2 different teams. The others are Craig Morton and Peyton Manning. Warner also became the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to win a conference championship with 2 different teams, following Craig Morton and Earl Morrall. In Warner's 3rd career Super Bowl appearance on February 1, the Cardinals lost Super Bowl XLIII 27-23 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, leaving him with a career 1-2 record in Super Bowls. Despite losing, Warner still managed to throw for 377 yards. He completed 72.1% of his passes, and had a quarterback rating of 112.3. Warner had now recorded the 3 highest single-game passing yardage totals in the history of the Super Bowl, and joined Roger Staubach, Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana, John Elway, and Tom Brady as the only quarterbacks to throw a touchdown pass in 3 different Super Bowls. Warner had taken his team to the Super Bowl every year that he played as the starting quarterback during all regular and postseason games. 2009 season, Warner announced his desire to return to the Cardinals for the 2009 season. The Cardinals offered him a 2-year contract worth around $20 million, but Warner was looking for a contract that would pay him about $14 million a year, and the two sides could not come to an agreement. On February 27, 2009, Warner became a free agent and went on to have talks with the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers offered Warner a contract worth more than that offered by the Cardinals. On March 4, Warner re-signed with the Cardinals to a 2-year deal worth $23 million total, $4 million for each of the next 2 years, with a $15 million signing bonus. Warner underwent arthroscopic hip surgery to repair a torn labrum on March 17, 2009. On September 20, 2009, Warner broke the NFL unregistered trademark single-game record for completion percentage in the regular season, completing 24 of 26 passing for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns. Warner's 92.3% completion rate broke the previous NFL record set by Vinny Testaverde in 1993. On November 1, 2009, Warner threw a career high equaling 5 interceptions during a loss to the Carolina Panthers. During the same game, Warner became the first quarterback in the NFL to throw for over 14,000 yards with 2 different teams. On November 8, Warner equaled his career high of 5 touchdown passes in a single game during a 41-21 victory over the Chicago Bears. This performance led to Warner being named both the NFC Offensive Player of the Week and the FedEx Air NFL Player of the Week. On November 15, 2009, Warner reached a career milestone with his 200th touchdown pass during a 31-20 win against the Seattle Seahawks. On November 22, 2009, during a 21-13 victory over the St. Louis Rams, Warner left the game after suffering a concussion. Warner continued to suffer from post-concussion symptoms, and on November 29, 2009, he was deactivated against the Tennessee Titans, breaking his consecutive start streak at 41 straight games. On December 6, 2009, Warner returned to action as the Cardinals defeated the Minnesota Vikings 30-17. Warner registered his 4th consecutive game with a passer rating of 120 or better, making him only the second quarterback in NFL history to accomplish the feat. After his 3-touchdown performance, Warner was named both the NFC Offensive Player of the Week and the FedEx Air NFL Player of the Week. On December 27, 2009, Warner became only the second quarterback in NFL history to throw 100 touchdown passes with 2 different teams, in the Cardinals' 31-10 win over the St. Louis Rams. On December 29, 2009, Warner was named an alternate quarterback for the NFC team in the 2010 Pro Bowl. 2009 postseason on January 10, 2010, Warner threw 5 touchdowns and completed 29 of 33 passes for 379 yards in a 51-45 victory over the Green Bay Packers. The game had the highest combined total score in NFL playoff history. Warner became one of the very few quarterbacks in NFL history to throw more touchdowns than incompletions in a playoff game. Warner finished the game with the second highest quarterback rating in NFL playoff history with a rating of 154.1. He also became the second quarterback to throw for 5 touchdown passes in a playoff game twice, and the first to do so since the merger of the leagues. He is also the oldest player to have thrown that many touchdown passes in a playoff game. Warner also tied the NFL record for consecutive playoff games with at least 3 touchdown passes. Since the playoff game was his last at home in the playoffs during his career, he finished a perfect 7-0 in home contests. On January 16, Warner was injured in the first half trying to tackle the ball carrier after an interception on the way to a 45-14 loss at New Orleans in the NFC divisional round. He returned for the second half, but yielded to understudy Matt Leinart midway through the fourth quarter. In 2012, the NFL discovered the Saints had placed a bounty on Warner. Warner never accused the Saints of making an illegal hit or ending his career, saying it was a violent hit, no question. But I also believe it was a legal hit. Retirement. Warner officially announced his retirement from the National Football League in January 2010. He said he was looking forward to finally being a true father to his 7 kids, and that he wanted to spend time with his wife. He spoke on the impact and influence of his family, former teammates, and God. He became eligible for induction into the Hall of Fame following the 2014 season. In December 2014, Warner admitted he briefly considered coming out of retirement and returning to the Cardinals following the team losing Carson Palmer and Drew Stanton due to injuries. Warner became an Iowa Barnstormers broadcaster for the 2011 Arena Football League season. In May 2010 he was inducted into the Arena Football Hall of Fame. He is also a member of the Iowa Barnstormers Hall of Fame. Warner was inducted into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame in 2014. Career stats. NFL records: most yards passing in a Super Bowl game are €414 yards, 3 highest passing yardage totals in Super Bowl history. Warner also owns the 2nd highest and 3rd highest passing yardage totals in Super Bowl history. Only quarterback to throw 400-plus yards in a Super Bowl game. Most touchdown passes in a single postseason are 11 touchdowns. Most yards passing in a single postseason, 3 games played are 1,063 yards. Highest completion percentage in a single game, min 20 attempts, are 92.3%. Highest rate of games with 300-plus yards passing are 41.9%. Most career games with a perfect passer rating are 3 games. Fastest player to pass for 30,000 yards are 114 games. Fastest player to pass for 10,000 yards. Only quarterback to throw for over 14,000 yards with 2 different teams. Only quarterback to throw 40 touchdowns and win a Super Bowl in the same season. Most yards passing in the first 4 games of a season are 1,557 yards. Most yards passing in the first 5 games of a season are 1,947 yards. Most yards passing in the first 6 games of a season are 2,260 yards. Highest average passing yards per game on Monday Night Football are 329.4 yards. Warner shares several records, one of 3 quarterbacks to throw 100 touchdown passes with 2 different teams, one of 2 quarterbacks tied to throw 5 touchdown passes in 2 different playoff games are one of 2 quarterbacks to complete 80% of his passes in 2 playoff games, one of 2 quarterbacks with 4 consecutive games with a passer rating over 120, one of 3 quarterbacks to make Super Bowl starts with 2 different teams are and Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning, Indianapolis Colts and Denver Broncos, 1 of 4 quarterbacks to win a conference championship with 2 different teams. Warner also ranks 2nd in several categories. 2nd highest career completion percentage are 65.5, 2nd highest career passing yards per game are 260.4 yards game, 2nd highest career passing yards in Super Bowl history are 1,156 yards, 2nd highest career completion percentage, playoffs are 66.5. Broadcasting. In 2010, Warner joined NFL Network as an analyst. He can be seen regularly on NFL Total Access, as well as in studio on NFL Network unregistered trademark's Thursday Night Football pregame show, Thursday Night Kickoff presented by Sears. Warner also served as an analyst for the NFL Network's coverage of the 2010 Arena Football League playoffs. In August 2010, Fox Sports announced that Warner would be serving as a color analyst on the network's NFL coverage in the 2010 season. He teamed with play-by-play announcers Chris Rose or Chris Myers to call regional games. In 2014, Westwood One Radio hired Warner as a substitute analyst on Monday Night Football games when regular analyst Boomer Esiason is unavailable. Television appearances. On January 27, 2009, Warner made a special appearance on the NBC reality show The Biggest Loser. Warner made a guest appearance on Disney's The Suite Life on Deck as himself in the episode Any Given Fantasy, which aired on Disney Channel January 18, 2010. On February 9, 2010, Warner was a surprise guest on the final episode of The Jay Leno Show. On August 30, 2010, it was announced on live television that Warner would be appearing as a contestant on Dancing with the Stars. His professional dance partner was Anna Tabunskaya. The couple was eliminated in Week 8, the instant choreography week. Warner appeared as the host of The Moment, a reality series on USA Network, in 2013. Endorsements. On December 3, 2010, Warner's first multi-year post-retirement endorsement agreement was announced. Amway North America announced that it had signed Warner to a multi-year endorsement agreement to represent the Nutrilite brand. Amway reportedly agreed to make a $50,000 donation to Kurt Warner's First Things First Foundation. In addition to his post-retirement endorsements and charity work, Warner has invested in the Elite Football League of India, a South Asian professional football league. Other prominent American backers include former Chicago Bears head coach Mike Ditka, former Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Michael Irvin, sports analyst Ron Jaworski, and actor Mark Wahlberg. Warner's total investment amount remains undisclosed, although $50,000 of it will go towards a donation of footballs to schools and underprivileged children throughout India. Public service. Warner has also appeared in several public service announcements for Savitan International, promoting his and Brenda's volunteer efforts and their work with the developmentally disabled. This issue is personally close to Warner, as Zachary, his adopted son from Brenda's first marriage, suffered major brain damage as an infant when his biological father accidentally dropped him. Warner has devoted time and money to his First Things First Foundation, the name of which was derived from his interview after winning the Super Bowl in 1999. The foundation is dedicated to impacting lives by promoting Christian values, sharing experiences and providing opportunities to encourage everyone that all things are possible when people seek to put First Things First unregistered trademark. The foundation has been involved with numerous projects for causes such as children's hospitals, people with developmental disabilities and assisting single parents. Warner's work both on and off the field resulted in him being awarded the NFL Walter Payton Man of the Year Award 2008, which was presented to him at the start of Super Bowl XLIII. In March 2009, Warner was honored with the Muhammad Ali Sports Leadership Award. Warner was selected by USA Weekend as the winner of its annual Most Caring Athlete Award for 2009. In December 2009, Warner topped a Sports Illustrated poll of NFL players to name the best role model on and off the field in the NFL. Award. In February 2010, Warner received the annual Bart Starr Award, given for outstanding character and leadership in the home, on the field and in the community. At the award presentation, Bart Starr said of Warner, "We have never given this award to anyone who is more deserving." Political ad. On October 24, 2006, Warner was featured in a political advertisement opposing a bill supporting embryonic stem cell research in Missouri. The advertisement was in response to a pro-embryonic research ad featuring Michael J. Fox. Warner appeared in the advertisement with James Caviezel, Patricia Heaton, Jeff Suppan, and Mike Sweeney. The advertisement aired during Game 4 of the 2006 World Series. See also, List of NFL quarterbacks who have passed for 400 or more yards in a game, List of NFL quarterbacks who have posted a perfect passer rating, List of 300-yard passing games by NFL quarterbacks, List of Arena Football League and National Football League players, NFL QB playoff records as starters. References. Further reading, Warner, Kurt and Silver, Michael. All Things Possible. San Francisco, HarperCollins. ISBN 0-06-251717-1 ISBN 0-06-251718-X. Warner, Kurt and Brenda. First Things First. Carroll Stream, Illinois, Tyndale House Publishers Incorporated. ISBN 1-4143-3406-0. External links, career statistics and player information from NFL.com, a Eurocent Arena Fan, a Eurocent ESPN, a Eurocent Yahoo Sports, a Eurocent SI.com, a Eurocent Pro Football Reference, official site, Kurt Warner at Cardinals.com, the football database, a Euro Kurt Warner.